Good morning. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 12th of March. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right, I just want to have a look at Tesla. I'm going to do a post on this today and NVIDIA. But Tesla, well, we've got obviously some pretty serious declines here, and actually, I don't think they're done. I really don't. And the reason I don't think they're done is because, one, it's a big risk when a head of a company does a lot of politics. And obviously the risk is you alienate a lot of your people, especially when you're looking at an international market. I mean, and Europe is very, very pro-Ukraine, and he's been losing a lot of support in Europe. So now that's not necessarily a huge gap, but you're seeing but it's combined with, we've got this lovely head and shoulders here. This has got a target at 150. This is a pretty clear rising megaphone, very clear rising megaphone actually. And if that breaks down below 160, it will have a target at 101.81. And honestly, I think it could go lower. I think Tesla could be all but wiped out in Europe over the next few months. It'll be very interesting to see how the 2025 sales figures are stacking up. But really, I think Tesla might be in a lot of trouble in terms of sales. And if that is the case, then really it's overvalued. An awful lot of the Tesla price has been the expectation of future growth. What happens if their sales halve over the next year? And they might. An awful lot of the people who own Teslas at the moment are Democrats, and are they going to buy another Tesla? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, there's protests around all sorts of Tesla things here. We've got, there are some issues. So anyway, I'm just going to say, I was saying, I think last time I was talking to people, I was talking to you guys about this. It was about 300. It's now at 220. I am expecting it to hit 150 with possible support at about 162. But over the next year or so, I'm thinking it's going to reach that 150 and probably going to do 100. So just be aware, because this is becoming a political stock, and that has upsides and it has downsides. Now, it's got a lot of upsides for SpaceX. They've been doing very well on government contracts this year, but in terms of Tesla, it's mainly downsides. Anyway, moving on. All right, let's have a look at ES. Now, ES, we've actually got a shot at a rally here. Now, we didn't get a rally yesterday, despite all the 60-minute buy signals, and actually the one on YM failed. We had a fairly weak one fix again. So I mean, we've still got quite a lot of positive divergence here, but I mean, we've been getting big announcements every day, and the market's mainly been more about those big announcements than TA. But we've got a nice looking double bottom that's here. It's trying to break up. That's got a target at about the 57.40 to 57.70 area, and I'm thinking that might deliver. Certainly, it would resolve a lot of the positive divergence, which is becoming embedded here. NQ, this looks like a bear flag, and it might be a bear flag, obviously. And YM, not sure what this is saying to me. Possible part-formed inverted head and shoulders. RTY, we've got a nice looking little double bottom. That's trying to break up with a target in the weekly pivot area at about 2100. DAX and STX, we've got a potential level bottom here. This could go back and retest the highs. Obviously, the European stocks have been much, much stronger. I think they're going to come off quite a lot as well, but these have been much stronger. On the bigger picture, we could be forming a right shoulder for for a head and shoulders here to take DAX lower, and I do have some fairly serious looking fixed sell signals on DAX. ESTX, we've got another potential level bottom here, 60-minute buy signals fixed there too, so we will see how that goes. All right, let's have a look at, hang on 1 second, I think I probably need to open these up again, so hang on 1 second. All right, bear with me a moment, I'll just open both of these up again. Sorry, my computer restarted overnight with Windows updates. and that will have messed up my chart. Okay, right, looking at the daily chart here, we've got a lot of positive divergence here. I'm not sure how seriously to take that. This is a news bob environment. But what I am taking seriously is the targets to the downside. So any rally, I suspect, is just an opportunity to sell at a higher price. And we got a target here in about the 53.60 to 54.40 area, and I'm expecting that target area to be made. We've made it significantly over halfway to that already. In terms of the hourly chart, we've still got some old RSI 14 buy signals. Maybe they'll make target, maybe they won't. We got a 15-minute buy signal yesterday. We'll see. And we've got we haven't really got a double bottom here, but the ES one looks pretty solid. We'll see. On the Qs, we've still got an RSI 5 buy signal. If we go down far enough, we could lose that, and we could lose all of these daily divergences, and indeed the hourly buy signals on the RTH charts. Here, we're actually getting pretty close to the double top target, partially because, of course, this was the smallest pattern, and the Dow one was the largest, but I'm liking this. Targets around the 460 area, and that's looking good. Still got an hourly buy signal. Again, not sure how seriously to take that. And we do have also an RSI 14 buy signal on 15-minute. Looking at Dia, we've got an RSI 5 buy signal fixed there too. We've broken down from the double top with a target in the 385 area, and well, this is the most ambitious target of all of the RTH charts, but I'm still liking it. It's and I think, given that it looks as though this tariff experiment is going to last a few months at least, certainly from the talk coming from the White House, I think this is looking pretty good. So I think we'll probably head down and get there. We're testing the annual pivot at the moment, but that doesn't tend to be great sport. But I'm really liking this target to the downside. And I was pointing to the rising support trend lines on SPX and Dia as potential targets, and I think they may well be hit. Looking at the hourly chart, still got some positive divergence on the hourly, and we had got an RSI 14 buy signal fixed there as well on the 15-minute. Looking at IWM, we've got. I'm going to do a post tomorrow talking about the daily lower band rides. We've got very extensive ones here. Now these aren't the longest I've ever seen, but actually, if you look at IWM here, which has been the weakest, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think the longest one I've ever seen was 16. But we are due a rally soon. This is getting very long in the tooth. But equally, a daily lower band ride lasts until it ends. So as and when it ends, I'd be looking for a test of the daily middle band. There's nothing particularly strongly suggesting that's ending right here, although we do again still have nice positive divergence, possible RSI 5 buy signal brewing, and it's very nice. Hourly buy signal still there, and I think, no, we don't have a 15-minute buy signal here. Here we've got probably the nicest pattern from the high here, and the next obvious target would be this trend line here in about the 204.2 area, after which obviously we might start another leg down. DAX, as you can see, the possible head and shoulders I was talking about is very much there. If we saw a bounce here, that could create that pattern. We're still on RSI 5 and RSI 14 sell signals on DAX, but we're getting pretty close to the RSI 5 sell signal target. We've got nice positive divergence on Nikkei as well. We are again on a daily lower band ride. Again, that has lasted quite a while, and again that ends when it ends. So we haven't got a bad setup for a short-term rally here. We have had much better setups for a rally. But really, I mean, if Trump would stop talking for a week or two or giving press conferences, then obviously that would help things along. But to be honest, I don't think that sounds very Trump. So we'll see whether some good news arrives. But in the meantime, this could go significantly lower. All right. Okay, let's have a look at DX. DX is trying to turn here. Now, obviously, I've got targets a lot lower. I'm really expecting this to test. I've got targets of 101, then about 100, and then 97, 96, 97, which I'm thinking might be a significant low because I think the overall pattern here looks like a bull flag. In the meantime, I'm thinking we might see a bit of a bounce. We're on an RSI 14 buy signal, but so far we've been on an RSI 14 buy signal for about 3 or 4 days, and so far that hasn't delivered anything. Looking at ZB, I think we're likely topping out here. Is this a possible head and shoulders forming here? No, I don't think it is. I am wondering about a possible retest this high, or we could go lower and form I don't know. I think really, in terms of a topping pattern here, I'm not sure we have a good option apart from a retest the high. I am wondering if we'll see that. CL, we've got a double bottom formed here. That's made some progress since yesterday. If we see a sustained break up over 68.2, we could see a move up into about 71.5 area with resistance at the monthly pivot in the 70.73 area. NG, I think this looks like a bull flag, and I've got targets higher, 575 to 625, and I'm leaning towards it making those. GC is still trying to break up from this bull flag. I'm thinking this is going to see a retest this high soon. I'm a bit surprised we haven't seen it already. SI, again, I'm looking higher. We've got a possible 60-minute sell signal ring here, but actually, if this move here holds, then we're going to lose that divergence. HG, I've been looking for a retest of this high, and we got it. So no current negative divergence, and I'm thinking this could well go higher. Bigger picture, we may be forming a top on HG because I think if we're looking at the US going into recession, and I suspect a number of other world economies going into recession over the trade war, then that's going to affect HG prices, which are pretty close to all-time highs already. So looking at there's not a great deal to see on the currencies here, but basically, obviously, the dollar's been going up and everything's been mirroring that. In terms of patterns, this head and shoulders here has long since failed, and I'd be leaning towards seeing a retest of this high here, and fairly soon I'd expect to see that if we see a rally on the dollar. But obviously, Canada and the US dollar are opponents at the moment, and that will have an impact in all probability. Australian dollar, targets made. NZ, no current targets, looks like a bull flag forming. KC, I'm wondering if this is an overall flag which is going to send this down to the 355 area. There is some pressure downwards on coffee at the moment. On sugar, we've got a double bottom that has broken up here with targets very slightly higher, but they're not a lot higher. Bigger picture, I'm thinking we're probably going to see more downside. CC, possible bottoming action here, but nothing that looks particularly interesting. Possible IHS forming here on wheat and on corn. We've broken this rising channel here and seen some retracement. This might be just backtesting the weekly pivot for another move up, and we had a sell signal which has already made target. On soy, we've got leaning towards saying retest this low and setting up a double bottom, which could then propel further upsides. On cotton, not really an inverted head and shoulders forming here. I'm keeping an open mind. The best opportunity, however, to see a big reversal on cotton was here, and we went below it. So keeping an open mind on that one. Lumber, leaning towards the downside, not really got any decent pattern to work with here on this scale chart, but on the bigger picture, it's leaning short. Live cattle, looks like a bull flag forming, and lean hogs has broken up from this inverted head shoulders, hasn't made target yet, and really, I'm thinking it's probably going to. All right, let's have a look at questions. Platinum, palladium. Let's have a look at them. All right. Palladium. Gotta say, looking at the bigger picture chart, I am wondering about a retest of 813. Do set up a really nice looking second lower double bottom. We've already got a double bottom here though, or possibly an inverted head and shoulders forming. But is there anything really of conviction saying we've made a low? Not currently. But it could well go up straight from here. I'm expecting this to do more to the upside over the next year or so. So far, while gold has been going up, this really hasn't. Although palladium to a significant degree is an industrial metal, and industrial metals are liable to get affected by economic contraction soon. So keeping an open mind, nothing really compelling to see there. Looking at platinum, no current positive divergence, no obvious pattern. Looking at that on the bigger picture, hang on, wait a second, bear with me. On the bigger picture, I am wondering about a move down to this trendline support. If this is an overall triangle forming, which would be in the 895 area. I think platinum is mainly an industrial metal. And again, I think we're likely to see contractions in cars. I think we're likely to start seeing some contractions in the economy. Industrial metals may be left behind. And so far, largely, they have been left behind by gold. So we will see. It's I think gold will likely do well. I am wondering about the others, and at the moment I'm seeing nothing compelling saying a low is in. All right, great. Let's have a look at right on the on this here. We've got a nice looking. It's just a short term. It's not a general. It's not a general series of bottoming setups here. But we've got nice looking double bottoms on RTY and ES, and they made a lover. We've certainly got some nice positive divergence. Wouldn't take an awful lot higher before they started hitting their possible near miss targets, and we lost the one on YM. Obviously, that one failed. But I'm quite liking the odds for a rally here, but it depends. I mean, if we get a big announcement this morning that bigger tariffs are going on the European Union or so on and so forth, then that could just drag this down again. We do have open markets to the downside. Any rally that we see is likely to be counter trend. Okay, I'm planning to do might be a two-part post. I haven't decided yet, but I'm going to be doing a post on Nvidia and Tesla. But I've already talked to you about Tesla, and that's basically what I'm going to be saying in that post. Be wary about Tesla. Because I think the at the moment, well, actually, okay, I'm just going to show you a couple of things I've been seeing in Europe in recent days. One thing is that we've had a lot of the Tesla owners here. I don't know whether they've been doing it in the States as well, but they've been putting these little things on their cars saying, on their Teslas saying, I bought this before Elon went crazy. This is actually an advertisement from Kia, taking advantage of this trend in Europe, suggesting that obviously they should buy and Kia is the next one. I've got, that's actually one of the nicer ones. We're also seeing a lot of other ones. Let's see if I can find it, which again are, this is not a good optic. I mean, they've been selling quite a lot in Europe, and I do wonder if Tesla is going to exist in Europe in a couple of years. But if you have a look, this was on a London bus stop a couple of weeks ago. It's not great. It's and there is a price to pay from getting very involved in politics. Yeah, I mean, someone actually putting Audi logos on. Yeah, I mean, Tesla's got. This kind of advertisement. Well, this is a demonstration that not every kind of publicity is good publicity. This kind of publicity is toxic, and really, it might wipe out Tesla in Europe, which is not an insignificant market. An awful lot of the people who have bought Teslas are concerned about the environment, and they're not too keen on what he's been doing. Europe, there's a lot of support for Ukraine, and he's seen as very anti-Ukraine now. And from his Twitter posts, that's not an unreasonable conclusion. I think he might pay a very, very serious price for his involvement in politics here in America, where I think an awful lot of probably the majority of people who own Teslas are Democrats, and an awful lot of those have been buying Tesla again. The other thing is that we've got, 2 years ago, there wasn't really an awful lot of incentive to Tesla in the straight-up EV market, and now there is. I think that's going to cost him dear, and I would be very, very wary about having money in Tesla at the moment. Although I still think they're a decent car, but that's just my personal view. I probably wouldn't buy one here at the moment in the UK because I wouldn't want it vandalized. And I think it probably would be, or at least there's a good chance it would be. We shall see. All right, anyway, so that's the wrap for this morning. I will catch you guys tomorrow morning. Anyway, watch out for that post. I'm going to be doing a post on Nvidia and Tesla, though I might do one of those today and one of those tomorrow. We will see. All right, catch you tomorrow.